The More Movement Crew.
Welcome to the More Movement Crew podcast. I am your host, Kenina Porter, and we're back again. Season 4, got another episode and another feature for the series, What's Good. So we are excited about hearing from our special guest today, which is more like family, right? Family that she's coming back to us to hear what we got going on. But before we get into it, we want you to make sure that you like, subscribe, share this episode, this podcast episode, because I can already guarantee you that it's going to be something that is going to bless somebody else. So definitely check in, share it, pass it to somebody, send it to somebody's inbox, whatever you need to do to get this message out. Thank you for being here, and we appreciate you checking us out. So our guest today really doesn't need an introduction. I mean, if you checked out our first season, she was actually on the 3rd episode of my first season. And I looked at the episode and it was 2 years ago. So it is amazing to see how much has changed, how much I've grown, how much she's grown. And so we're going to hear all about it today. So Kriss Liss, welcome to the show.
What's up? I'm happy to be here.
Thank you for coming on the show again. I appreciate it like always.
For sure.
I'm
happy to be here.
So the theme I said is what's good. And really we're just circling back, right, to check on our previous guests and to see what's going on. And the reason why I decided to do this season and to circle back is because, I think that we've sometimes failed to realize all that God does and all that he has done. And I think we also forget that there is power in speaking things, right? There's power when you put, words out into the atmosphere, right? And then you put forth the work to do it. Like that in itself is a beautiful combination, and especially when you're seeking God's will for it. So I wanted to, circle back with guests just to see, because a lot of our guests talked about, and you talked about it too, like the things that you want God to do, the things that you are planning, right? And so it's going to be really cool to like see all the things that have transpired, and probably more that have come, from 2 years. So that's the whole point of the show. So
okay, I'm ready.
You ready? So
I'm ready.
But before we usually get started, I always have a question. So usually I send the guest the question ahead of time.
Yeah.
But for you, I didn't do that.
Oh Lord, what's this question gonna be?
You know why? When I read it, you're gonna understand why I didn't do it.
Okay.
Because it's just what you do. So the question is, current day, name 3 songs that you would consider to be the soundtrack to your life. So current day, in this moment, how you feel, what you're moving in, 3 songs. Explain why.
My goodness. Okay. And you said, do they have to be current day songs or just my current favorites right now?
Like based on your current state, your current vibe.
All right, let me see what we got going on here. First of all, wait a minute. This question is
it? I mean, what have you been? Yeah, like you've been meditating on something,
Yeah. So let me go in here. So here's one song that I've been jamming to lately. And it's Jordan Armstrong, and it's called Favor. You know that one?
Well, I don't know that one, but I know Jordan Armstrong.
Yeah, Jordan Armstrong. I don't know if it's Jordan or Jordan, but yeah, I like his song Favor.
Yeah,
I'm feeling that one right now. It's the mood I'm in. I also like, and it's not really directly like ties into me, but I just been jamming to it. This new Andy Mineo album came out recently, and he's got a song on there called Falling. It's like the 2nd song on the album. And I'm feeling that song. It doesn't sound like it doesn't sound like you think it would sound with the title, but That song I've been jamming to too. Let me see what else I have on here. Also, can I just say I'm very excited that Aaliyah's music is on streaming services.
Me too.
Because yeah, it's like I think it's going to introduce people to her music that never heard it before, younger generation, and you just get to enjoy it if you already knew it. And I love Aaliyah's music. I love that Static Major, our hometown local songwriter hero, wrote the music that's on there, most of it. But yeah, I'm gonna be totally honest with the way that my life is right now. I don't even get to listen to music like I used to or like I want to. But I will say one of my favorite artists also dropped an album, and his name is James Blake. he just dropped an album. Yes. And so if you are listening, go listen to James Blake. He's dope. He's like experimental, but he lives in kind of an R&B lane, and he travels different other places too. So I love that. I just want to be inspired. That's what I want from music these days, is when I listen, I want to be inspired.
So yeah, so it was when I listened to the responses for people, from guests who answered this question, it gives me just a kind of a mindset of where they are. Like you talked about faith.
Yeah.
You talked about falling, which, I mean, what is the concept behind the fallen song? If you can kind of wrap it up in.
Well, I can't say that I 100% understand his whole album, but the name of the album is Neverland 2. And so the album starts off with him saying, "I'm falling." And I'm assuming at the end of the album, it sounds like he's trying to not lose his childhood or his childlike creativity and wonder for the world and everything he's doing. That's what it seems like the album is about. So it seems like maybe he's falling and he doesn't want to land in a place of complacency or, depression, sadness. He wants to stay in a place of wonder and awe. I think that's what it seems like.
Yeah. I had Neverland 1, the first one. So I had that album. So I'm expecting, nothing but great things from Andy L. But I also think like sometimes people don't necessarily listen to him lyrically. And just really to see like what kind of MC he is.
Yeah, he's dope.
He's super dope. Like a friend of mine has sent me a video, I think about something Andy did, and I don't know if it was his first exposure to it. And I was just like, check out his freestyles.
Yeah.
On YouTube, and you'll see like that he is an MC. He's an MC. Like so yeah, I have to check out that new Andy album. And then the last artist was James Blake. So talking about traveling, inspiration. So
yeah, just definitely inspiring.
Yeah. And I think that question for me just kind of just gives, me an idea of where you're at to kind of, piggyback on answering some of those questions and continue with the thing. You always got to have a challenging question or some kind of. And I was like, Crystal does music, so I don't want it to be rehearsed. I'll let everybody else kind of practice, but I'm gonna just have her just go off the dome today.
Yeah.
So, so I appreciate you coming up with your answers, because I probably would have been rumming too. Like, I don't know. I don't know what I would say. So I appreciate that. So, talking about the last episode, I think even the theme of the episode that you did 2 years ago was talking about like authenticity, and talking about the industry. But now that, we're in a pandemic still and have been, for a while, how has the industry changed in your opinion, and how has that affected like your work?
Well, I would say that I operate outside of it. So I can answer, how has the industry changed? I think that the industry always adapts. The industry always grows. The industry will take the tools that they have and use those to do whatever they need to do to maintain the whole like system, the label system. Me personally, honestly, it wasn't really, it was mental. For me, COVID was mental. So what changed for me was I took some downtime for myself because I was going through a lot of mental and emotional stress, honestly, throughout COVID for a few different reasons. But that kind of stopped my music. But it didn't really change my plan, though, because my plan was always more of a digital approach anyway. And so all that did was help me to focus on my digital approach even more. I started doing the Kriss Liss kills last time I was here, doing the freestyles where I remix the popular songs. And then I switched over to doing Kriss Liss COOKUPS, which is a series where I'm in this studio right now, my studio, and I make beats live and I sing a little bit every Friday. So I switched to that. And I've also got some other digital things I'm going to do. But really, for me personally, COVID didn't really affect anything that I was doing. It just helped me to focus.
Yeah. That's, I asked that question because I really wanted to, move towards how you're able to keep your purpose and your mission before you, right? How you're always able to keep it front and center. During this time, how have you been able to do that? How are you able to continue as an artist to keep that before you and just, as an individual?
Yeah. Two things, prayer and scripture is really it. If we're talking about God-given focus and God-given mission, when I stop reading his word, my focus changes. I get distracted. So for me, it really is, it sounds so cliche, but for real, like reading the Bible, reading his word really helps me to stay focused. I try to do it at the beginning of the day, top of the morning, so that's top of mind. It really does help. It really does. And then prayer too. I'm not going to say, I honestly don't think that I pray enough, but I do pray. So I think it's prayer, it's scripture, if you want to stay focused. Also, and also eliminating distractions, like even more practically, eliminate the things that are distracting you. If there are things around you that you need to change those things. Yeah.
And I think that, the pandemic kind of helped us to, one or two things. It helped to eliminate some of the distractions I talked about before we hopped on the call. I talked about the busyness of life.
Yeah.
It made everybody slow down. It made everybody sit back and think. But
yeah.
Also with COVID, I think that people dived into the world of social media even harder.
Mm-hmm.
And so it just made it really, really distracting. So then you find yourself having to step back out of the social media world.
Yeah.
Connect back to the real world. And so I was listening to a quote where it was talking about that, where, 15 years ago, computers wasn't really anything that, people were constantly on. You
right.
get something and you get off. But it's now we're trying to escape social media with entering into the real world. Like we need the real world to help us escape from social media, because that world is so strong now.
Yeah.
So distractions are definitely something that is before us, I think, if we don't, pray and read our word and really work to manage it.
Yeah, and social media can be a distraction for me personally.
Yeah.
I do try to post and get off. But it's such a black hole. Have you ever got on there and then you just, and then an hour later, you're like, how did I got on here to do something and I don't remember what it was.
You ain't never lied, because I told myself, I had to do like a month of just like no scrolling. The rule was no scrolling. So when you get on, look at your message, post whatever you're gonna post and get off, no scrolling. Because I was finding myself just like, and for me, it really wasn't like getting in anybody's business. Like I didn't really want whose business. It was about like all of the like random videos and challenges and TikTok. Like that pulls you in. TikTok as a whole.
Oh my gosh, for sure. It's probably the deepest of holes.
It's endless.
Yeah. Yes.
Endless. It's like one more video.
Right. Just one more. And then the dude comes up. You've been scrolling for too long. And what do? Scroll back, scroll past him and keep going. And then have you ever seen that video?
I have.
Yeah.
And I was gonna say that, you know, with TikTok, the algorithms, obviously, like if I scroll in, like if I liked a Christian TikTok, then it'll give you another one, and it'll give you another one, and you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
See what you like, it feeds it.
TikTok's algorithm is smart. It's super smart.
So yeah, so TikTok is definitely, I mean, I had it on my phone for a hot second and I deleted it because I already knew, like, I don't need another thing to be connected to. But it is super distracting.
Yeah.
And so I think that, you know, keeping our mission before us and our purpose, which is the whole point, you know, of this podcast before us is the key. But I like what you said when you answered the first question, when I talked about the industry, is you said, like, I don't really move towards what the industry does, right? I don't really make decisions based on how the industry is moving. And I think that is key. You want to talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah, I think one of the things that I struggled with when I first knew that God was calling me to be an artist was not feeling like I could be one, not feeling fit for it in multiple different ways. And I struggled so much the first, and I put out my first single in 2015. So I want to give context to this. It's been from 2015 to about 2021. In the first few years, man, I struggled so much and I wanted to quit every day. I wanted to quit. And I think that a lot of that struggle came from me trying to be someone who I wasn't. And finally getting to the point where I call it your gift mix. I've taken my gift mix and made it what it's supposed to be instead of trying to take my gift mix and fit it to where it doesn't fit. Mm-hmm. Like, yes, I'm an artist, but I don't really like to do live shows. And okay, so what? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I finally accepted this, like, you know, live shows are something that I really don't care about, to be honest. I'll do them when I want to, and I'm gonna make it good too. When I do it, it's gonna be an experience, right? I think we talked about this before. I want to do an experience, but I love this digital realm. I make beats, I mix and master, I do all this stuff live. This is my gift mix. I have the business degree. All of this stuff makes me who I am, and I'm no longer fighting it. And because of it, though, it's going to cause me to operate outside of an industry that's going to try and make me fit something that I'm not. So what I have to do is build my own thing. And if the was to come, once I have enough leverage to do something good, then so be it. But for now, I am so okay with operating outside of the industry, especially like you were talking about, we need time to rest. Mm-hmm. And I want to be able to quit when I want to. You know, you can't do that if you're in an industry that's not going to allow you to quit because you got a lot of people, you know, well, first of all, you got a contract that you signed, but also you've got a lot of people depending on you, you know?
Yeah. I love that. What is it? Your what mix?
Your gift mix.
Gift mix.
I say, find your gift mix and how does that make you uniquely fit for the thing that God has called you to do?
Yeah, that's powerful. I mean, I talk about that all the time when it comes to purpose, and that God takes everything that you've experienced, everything that you like, right? Everything that you're talented at, and he puts it all together to fit your unique purpose. So modeling after somebody else is not what you're supposed to do, right? It's a uniform that will never fit.
Yeah.
And I think that is so important, especially for people listening and watching, is that, you know, you got to find your gift mix. You got to find out what makes you specific, unique, and you got to seek God and ask him what that is. Mm-hmm. And I think like when you said that, it just made me think about, you know, countless stories of people who've always been trying to, you know, get into acting or get into the music industry, but they kept on trying to do something that somebody else was doing.
Yeah.
And then you know, when they finally started to do what they knew that they were supposed to do, then it was like, okay, then the doors opened up. So I think it's key. So like, if you're doing something that doesn't fit you, if you're mimicking somebody else's thing, then that's not you. You gotta scratch it and figure out what your thing is. So I love that gift mix.
Yeah.
I have to steal that.
Yes.
That is, just the uniqueness of it. And I think that we also forget, how unique we are,
Mm-hmm.
And how many, and we don't recognize the different giftings that we have, I think.
Yeah.
And sometimes it doesn't necessarily have to be like, for me, I'm a creative, and I enjoy, I don't necessarily want to do the video production. I don't necessarily want to do the video editing, but I like to make pieces come together, right?
Yeah.
I like to create all the different elements come together with the music and the lights and the sound and this.
Okay.
And that. So those are the things that I enjoy. I enjoy bringing things together and bringing people together. And I'm learning that,
Yeah.
I'm learning that. So I definitely agree with you when you said, you got to find your gift mix, and you still learn,
Of course.
more and more gifts are coming out of that. And so I think the next thing is, in the 2 years, you said that, you've got the COOKUPS, you got, all of these other things. Is there kind of a specific thing that has happened over the 2 years that you were like, God has blown my mind by this? Like, I can't believe that, I was able to do this, or something you look back and you said, wow, like I was able to do that. Do you have a specific thing?
Well, it might seem small, but even the fact that I'm doing these COOKUPS is progress to me, and it shows me God's faithfulness and his kindness, because I'll be coming up on episode, by the time this airs, it'll be episode 41 possibly of the COOKUPS, and I would not have imagined that I would have been doing 41 of these episodes. If you had told me on episode 1 that I would have gotten this far and would have had this much creative juice to do it every episode, I would have said, you're lying. And I think that speaks to the bigger issue, which was my self-confidence has increased.
Yeah.
And to me, I am so thankful and so grateful to God that he has increased my self-confidence. And I still have ways to go. It's not all the way there, but even being able to do this has shown me that I can do so much more. So I'm thankful to God for that. And also, I mean, I don't know if this is a little bit off topic, but he brought a dude into my life. There's a guy now that has blown my mind.
That came out of nowhere, huh?
That came out of nowhere. It blew my mind. And it came, so how far are we going to talk about this? What do you want to know? What do you want to talk about?
Well, I think that is just a testament, like when things that God will do, when we're doing what we're supposed to be doing, and we're being led by him, he brings things into your life that you would have never imagined. And I think that God is just a very intentional God.
Yeah.
So if you know for sure that God is bringing this person, this special person into your life, then he's doing it for a reason. He's very intentional about it. So I think that's dope. I think that opens up maybe parts of you that needed to be, needed to grow. And
I agree.
So
yes.
That's cool. That's cool. You ain't got to share too much. You got to share too much. I'm sure he's gonna be watching.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, I think that's amazing. I mean, and you said something small, but those COOKUPS, like, that's not small. The fact that you do that, and I think the name is so fitting, because it's almost like you're in a kitchen and you got all these different recipes, and I think that's why it doesn't get old, and you never run out of creative energy, because you just mix, and then you sing over it, and then you know.
Yeah.
So it's just like unlimited, limitless possibilities.
Yeah. And I wouldn't have seen it that way before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it. I love the fact that you have not He talked about the not performing. It's funny because I just saw a clip of an old performance.
Yeah.
At, I think it was like Louis, what was it? Not Louisville.
I'm not sure. Louisville is I did perform at Louisville.
Yeah, I think maybe it was Louisville.
Yeah.
But how you're like, I don't like to perform. Like that's just not my thing. This is where I know that I'm strong in. This is where God is calling me to be in, and I don't have to be an artist that travels and performs all the time, right?
And honestly, I'm limiting myself even by saying that, because every time I do this COOKUP, I'm performing. Every time I do a COOKUP, I'm singing and performing and songwriting live. So it's even in myself, not even limiting my thoughts to just thinking of performance as a live show where you go to a venue or a bar or somewhere like that, or church, and then you get on stage and it's like that. But every time I get on a live stream, I'm performing. And so it's even me reshaping my mind and thinking outside of the box.
And I think, even with live performances, I mean, you said that you like to create experiences, right?
Yeah.
So, you doing the COOKUPs, and then maybe you do a live show, you're creating this experience, right? You're creating, things that, and it's almost like when you're flowing in the spirit. You know what I'm saying? Like when you flow in the spirit, you don't say, all right, I'm about to give this verse, and I'm about to do this run. You know what I'm saying? I'm about to run. Let's rehearse these 3 songs over and over again. And we're going to sing them like this. So like, I mean, I feel like the COOKUPs are the flow, of you kind of just flowing in the spirit and being led. And I feel like a live experience show could be just that. You just bring in the COOKUP.
And I've been approached. I've been approached to do it. I think that'll be happening soon.
Let's go.
Yeah.
I've been saying it for a minute. I think intimate, experience. Like, I think you should do, like, I said, like a showcase, but something where, I mean, you got your whole studio, like,
right up there, yeah.
Lights, like the way they are, like however you want it, and people just come and they just vibe out. And so, and the spirit of God can flow, even through that. You know what I'm saying? So that's powerful. That's dope. I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. So, aside that we've just talked about doing a whole show, we talked about this whole idea. Like, what else do you have that you're working on that's coming up?
So I do have a single, and by the time this airs, it will have dropped. And the single is called Back to You. And it is a single that I've had. I'm ready to drop it. I've been ready to drop it. But I just want to get some things in order. So I'm so happy. It's been 3 years since I've released a single. So it's about time. And I don't want you to wait. I don't want to have you guys waiting this long ever again to hear a song from me. So that's going to change. But this single is called Back to You. It's about getting back to God. It's about getting back to your first love. It's about having been distracted, realizing it, and course correcting, and bringing yourself back in alignment, and getting back into prayer, getting back into the word, getting back into building that relationship with the only one who could love you fully and truly and wholly, and mostly. So that's what it's about. And it's a bop too. Let me say, it's a bop. It's like, it's one of the, it's a jam.
What we would expect? Is it something a little bit different?
I don't know.
Is it like,
I have to let you guys decide that.
Okay. So you heard it. I mean, she says it's out. So by the time this drops,
it's out. So
I have the link.
Yes, that'd be amazing.
Connect. Yeah. You guys can check it out. You just made me think about something, and I totally just lost it just now.
Oh no.
I think it was something about one of your songs, about your music. Oh, that's what it was. So with the COOKUPs, I always wondered, like, after you're done cooking, do you offer that meal as an actual purchased track?
Well, actually, I haven't done anything with them yet. So I was thinking of just hoarding them for myself, but I have recently been thinking of offering some of them for sale. So if you're an artist and you're interested in beats, watch the COOKUPS, because it might be your next beat. It might be your next single on there.
I think
So,
that's
yes.
dope. I think that's super dope. Like, I mean, I can even imagine like somebody watching the COOKUPS and be like, hey, I gotta get this beat. Like, I gotta get this how I need it. And being able to like, you know what I'm saying, like get it whenever it's ready.
Yeah. It would be so dope if I could almost do like a reservation or something like that, like a, or even an auction, like a bid or something for it.
Yep.
Or
because I mean, people are all about exclusivity, like exclusive, you know, being able to have it for them. So I think that would be. But yeah, that's what I was thinking of with the COOKUPS. I was like, I want you to, what did she do with that, with those beats?
Some of them will be mine, those. Yes, some of them are going to be mine, and some of them I might sell them. I might sell them. Well, I probably will sell them. Yeah. Some of them.
So are you also making beats, selling beats, doing voiceovers, and tags as well still?
Yeah. So for the past few years, all of my income has been tags, but I'm about to diversify a little bit and get into some other things that I kind of put down when the tags took off. Yeah. So I'm about to start getting more into doing hooks and selling beats and really tapping into the revenue streams that all of my different arms afford, and not just leaving that revenue on the table, which I've been doing for too long. Yeah.
You made me think about just how an independent artist and an entrepreneur, you know, moves and kind of navigates this. Like, this is solely what you do.
Yeah.
Right. It's not a part-time thing. Like, this is solely what you do. So I think one part of the question is, I want you to talk about, like, what do you feel like an individual has to have in order to thrive in this? And now we're not talking about just the spiritual implications, because we already talked about you need to know your purpose, you need to be reading your word, your Bible, but what characteristics, what type of what type of like mindset does an individual need to have to be able to do this?
You have to be business minded. You have to, and I'm not saying that it has to come natural to you. It comes natural to me, but I'm not saying that it has to come natural to you. You should learn the business. I think I said this last time, like, learn the business, because and you know what? Let me not say the business, just learn business, because you should learn the music business if we're talking specifically about what should an artist do, but also just learn business, because as an independent artist, you're going to bring more from just general business knowledge than you might if you were assigned to a label and you just want to know how to read a contract or what to expect. Like, being an independent artist, you are an entrepreneur and you're a business owner. So you have to know what a regular business owner would know. You should know about, especially if you're a solopreneur like I am, you should know about tax law, at least a little bit, know if you're supposed to have an entity, an LLC, and know if know about marketing. No, you should be running ads, like everything that a real business would be doing, you have to do. So you have to learn business and be willing to learn it. I don't think there's any way around that. And I know that for some people that may be discouraging, but man, if you're on here and you are spiritual, if you are a believer, I would just say, pray that God gives you that desire to learn, and just take your time and inch by inch, brick by brick. But you do have to learn business. It's a business.
Yeah, that's great advice. I would also say, some people may feel like, they may need help. So if you have the means, or if, praying that God will connect you with someone with wisdom, I think is also important for you.
Yes.
Your background, you have an education in
yes, that's true.
You know what I'm saying? So some people don't have that, but I think seeking out counsel
Yes, that is great advice.
It's super important.
Yeah. And by the way, that's something that I am working on doing.
Yeah.
I want to be able to be a mentor.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were saying like, I'm just seeking out some, I don't know, I want some extra on my team or something.
No. Yeah. I want to teach people how to do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
See, I swear I talked about that though. I think I talked about that a while ago.
Yeah.
I already envisioned next. Oh yeah, because Purpose Project.
Yeah.
I'm gonna start connecting you with some young people.
Yeah.
That's dope.
Yeah.
Because I think it's just so important to really understand really what they're signing up for, like really what you're getting into. And really, if your motives are right.
Ooh, you just hit the nerve right there, because if you are just in it to get famous, you're not gonna last. I'm sorry. Like, you're not gonna last. If you're just in it to get clout, you're not gonna last. Like,
fame, that fame ain't what it is. It's not. No. It is not at all. Like, I really wouldn't. Well, I'm just saying, like, fame is not something that you want to aspire to achieve.
Yeah.
Right. Because what comes with fame without purpose.
Ooh. Destructive.
Ooh. Fame without purpose. We've seen what it looks like. We see what it looks like. That's really, even outside of music, that's social media influencers. That's anyone. Fame without the purpose of God is destruction, right? Yeah. You're wandering, you're swayed, you're pulled. People are always coming at you. So it's with purpose comes protection.
Ooh, right? I like that.
With purpose, I'm over here preaching. Right?
I know, right?
Turn your Bibles too. Turn your Bibles too. But dude, it does. Purpose comes with protection. And I'm speaking that as because I personally know that. You know what I'm saying? Like when I'm functioning in the will of God, that's the safest place to be, right? That's scripture. The safest place to be is in the perfect will of God. So I think when people, so really what I'm saying, for people who are watching this is really check your motive, right? Because sometimes we have to do that. Why do we want to pursue the things that we want to pursue? Yeah. Right? Is it to give God glory? Right? Is it to do kingdom work, and if you're not a believer when I'm saying kingdom work, you know what that means is to share the gospel message to people, or to help other people, right? To help and affect your community in a positive way. All of that, right, is purpose work. And if it is solely for you to get tangible things, cars, shoes, money, whatever, then it's not lasting.
And even if you realize that you are doing it for purpose work, you still have to daily die to yourself, because the enemy is always right there, ready to offer you something or show you something as a distraction. Just to say that word again, as a distraction. You have to daily die to yourself to keep your course. You asked earlier about how do you stay on track and keep on your purpose, dying to self. And part of that is, like I said, reading the word in prayer, but yes.
Yeah, so true. Because the humility piece is key, because it keeps you balanced.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like God could open a door for you to, get some influence, or for you to, make more money. But then if we don't stay grounded, then we can really step outside of the will of God. We can really, do something that's detrimental to us. So I think it keeps that balance, because money is a thing that can really, really sway us, right? Influence, power can sway us. So that humility that continually to keep yourself checked, I think is important. Speaking of that, who do you use as accountability? Who are the people that you use to be accountable? Because you got to have some kind of accountability.
Yeah. Well, I am at a church that I really enjoy. I love the closeness of the community. I've built a couple strong relationships there, and they hold me accountable. My mom is probably my biggest accountability. She's the person that I see the most, talk to the most. She knows me the most and the deepest. And I would say that out of everyone, she's my biggest accountability, and I love it. I seek it. You know, I want it. I want that accountability.
Yeah.
Because like you said, the safest place to be is in the will of God. And I agree with that. And I want to live that out. But she's the one that usually checks me. Like, remember what you said, and remember what God said, and remember who you are. That's my mom.
I mean, it's awesome.
Like, remember.
It's awesome to have somebody that, you know, I think everybody has to have the person in their life that reminds them of that. You know, you can't constantly be like, you know, encouraging yourself on an island.
Yeah.
By yourself. You gotta have.
And that's a tendency of mine. And I honestly drifted into that place during COVID. It was super easy to do it because I was already, before COVID, I was already a person that lived in a shell, or lived in this studio, lived in this space. Yeah. I had to intentionally, and still have to, because I'm not good at this. I'm not. Like, I still have to intentionally get out of that shell and out of my head, and just go outside. But even outside of going outside, you know, seek friendship, godly friendship. Yeah,
that's important. Is really important. I think when we talk about accountability, when we talk about humility, when you look around, especially for those listening to the podcast, when you look around and you start to see the people around you and start to see the influence that they have on you, and really just how they communicate, the things that they talk about, I think that's key. You know, I realized that here recently, like looking at the type of friendships I have and the type of conversation that they have. Yeah. Right. And which ones draw me closer to God, which ones give me accountability, you know, which ones are surface, you know, and we're just talking about the same surface things with no depth. And so I think that sometimes we just have to stop and like evaluate and look at the circle of people that we're surrounded, because that's going to determine, you know, because that can ultimately affect your purpose. Yeah. You know, who you surround yourself by. So this was some good conversation, right? Yeah. So the single is coming up next. So super excited about that. Or the single will be out. The single
it's out right now, you guys. It's out. It's called Back to You. It's back BACK to the number 2 YOU. Back to You, by yours truly, Kriss Liss.
And while you're mentioning that, also, what are some of the other ways that folks can connect with you, reach out to you, that kind of thing?
So I meant to say this earlier. During this pandemic, I started a music company, a music entertainment company, and it's called Holy Bay, hence the Holy Bay. And so I started this music company called Holy Bay. And right now it's just me. It's kind of a label / I don't know, a media company. So right now it's just my stuff, but I would like to branch out. And if you want to know anything, all things Kriss Liss, you should go to holybay.com. Holybay, HOLYBAE.com. I'll have the single posted there. I'll have my COOKUP links there, my Kriss Liss Kills freestyles links there, info about my live streams, all things Kriss Liss. You can go to holybay.com.
Holybay.com. I'll put the link also below this video to make sure that they connect to it. But I appreciate you coming on. I appreciate you sharing your truth always. I appreciate your transparency always. And you know, just your support for coming on this podcast. And so
you dope.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate dope people surrounded by dope people. So
for sure.
That's what keeps us going. So appreciate you coming on the show. If you guys are listening or watching, I know that this blessed you. And so I definitely want to continue to keep you encouraged. Check out the music, go to holybay.com. And until we meet again, be blessed. Have a good night.